This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. Today our guest is costume designer Barbara Gregusova.
Welcome, Barbara. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. Everybody, we have another special guest today. We have Cinda, who usually works behind the scenes for us, and we are really excited to have her on live with us and helping out. And she's been a part of our group since the day it started. So thank you, Cinda, for coming.
You're welcome.
We are very, very excited to have Barbara here. We were just joking, I guess, behind the scenes that Barbara was the inspiration for our Suspenders Unbuttoned name. So we thank you for that. And I think all of Team Nathan thanks you for that.
They all do.
For sure. Oh, I'm already hearing comments coming.
Yeah.
So anything's good. Hi, Roxanne. Go ahead, Julie. Why don't you lead us off with our first question?
Yeah, I'm like, what did we decide that we were going to ask? Okay, so
I don't know.
we came together over Wind Calls the Heart, but we also know that you've costumed for other series. Can you give us another series that you've costumed for?
Well, I did like 14 movies with Candice Cameron-Bure, which is the Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries. So, I mean, originally it was just movies, but they kind of changed it into like series of movies. So I guess we can call it sort of a series.
Right.
But otherwise, it's basically Wind Calls the Heart.
Okay.
So did you do all of her movies or the series? Is there only 14 of them?
There's 17.
There's 17.
So I didn't do the first one. I was brought in during their second one. And then I did, I think, until 11 and 12 I didn't do. So yeah, I basically didn't do 3 of them.
Okay.
That's amazing. We have a lot that watch Aurora Tea Garden for sure. So those are fun. And it's fun to see that contrast between a contemporary series and historical series.
Oh yeah, it's completely different, right? Like I like building stuff from scratch. So that's great to do on Wind Calls the Heart because we are building a lot of costumes, especially for the ladies and girls, because that's hard to find. The boys and men are a little bit easier because you can actually buy it in stores and then we alter it. So
okay, all right. So alteration. Do I just dive down there? Okay, I'm the sewer in the group. So I've been on your account since way a long time ago. So do you make your own patterns or are you buying patterns for the women and girls?
Okay, so I actually don't do the patterns. Mm-hmm. So my mom does the patterns.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had to do some patterns last year. So if I have to do patterns, I usually do use Borda. It's the magazine. It's basically, so I use their pattern for, let's say, code, and then I alter it. At least that's how I started when I think I started to sew. Well, I started to sew when I was 16. Yeah. But I think I did my first code when I was like 19 or something. So, I take something basic and then I do the seams the way I want them. I kind of like to do wardrobe, which is basically made out of like 36 pattern pieces, which is a lot.
Right. Wow.
So I did like dresses for myself and coats. But yes, so for Wind Calls the Heart, my mom, she basically, she has her little magic. And she has her basic patterns. Mm-hmm. And then she adapts those to whatever I tell her to build. So
no, I love that. So I can see it like often in like, say, Elizabeth's skirt. I can see the basic pattern there. But often.
Yeah, I mean, and then we alter it for what we want to be. And then also I worked with Jennifer. She wasn't with us last couple seasons, but she also built some of the pieces and she has her system. So, everybody has their system and then they worked with it. I don't really talk into it. I just want it to look, based on my vision or, the sketch I quickly do. and usually it turns out really good. So that's really great.
Okay, so that's awesome. So you're sewing a huge number of the pieces for the women and girls, and then buy the guys' pieces.
Yes. So we had to
Okay.
actually start building some stuff for actually kids because they are they grow up, right?
Right.
So a lot.
A
So,
lot.
So we were kind of couldn't find like the pants which would work for like Robert. So we
Right.
had to start making him pants from scratch. And then, basically like as soon as we cannot find the size in a store, we start building it, especially for like the boys as well. If it's anything specific, like when we had baseball team, so we had to build all those costumes, and that was quite fun because it was quite different, right? Or then we had the elf costumes, so we had to build that from scratch. It was quite fun.
Right.
Because I was at the wedding at the time, so I had to do sketches actually at the wedding and sending it to my girls. Well, the wedding was actually in Slovakia, and it was my best friend. So
that's
I was
amazing.
just, like, basically sitting at the table and eating dinner.
Oh my goodness.
And doing sketches.
Sketching on the napkins.
Sending the wedding napkin sketch. I love that. The growing boy thing. As a parent, I'm going to tell you, dress pants when their waist is a 24 and their inseam is a 33, that's not available in the store. So I did a lot of altering. I had boys that were very much built that way, and you can see Robert Jaden is very much built that way. So that tall, thin.
Right. Well, he's so tall.
Yeah, the pants are not long enough, unfortunately.
No. So to get the thin enough waist, it's rough, right? No. So I bet you ended up started doing dress pants for the boys from scratch. Huh? That's a lot of work. All right, I'm going to ask just because people have asked, and Allie's classic jumper. How many different jumpers have you had to make for that? Because that first year season jumper of hers, season 6, she was still wearing it in season 8, and that girl is not the same size.
Actually, it's the same one.
Really?
Is it really?
Yeah,
dropping those buttons down.
I kind of like the way how we build things, especially for the children. Like we know they will grow, right?
Right.
So certain things are built to accommodate their growth. So, there is enough seam allowance to either even for like the dresses to let them, like let the waist down or the straps can be changed, so each year we basically refit all the existing wardrobe for everybody. And then, we do necessary alterations, and, sometimes you cannot really push the item or the piece anywhere. So it's basically, it has to go away. We don't throw anything out. We still have it. Because we reuse everything. But but anything what we can alter, we always alter every year. So so she actually, the most time she grew up is this year. So we had to kind of add more pieces this year just because certain things had to go and they didn't fit the right way and there wasn't room to let them out. But even like for the girls' dresses, we started to do like the tacks. So if you see, like they have tacks right here. So, like if they get bigger in a chest, you can remove the tack, and, since the skirt is gathered, then you can actually expand the skirt as well. So yeah, it's kind of thought through just because, we don't have enough budget or time to sometimes build from scratch. So we have to be able to accommodate the pieces we already have.
Right. And it feels realistic too, because they wouldn't have a super vast wardrobe during that time period anyway. So it seems realistic to be able to watch them wearing the same outfits sometimes. I don't know if that's typing. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
You mean the sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on my end, but I'm not very technical, so I don't think
that's okay. I didn't know if it was me, so I kept thinking Cinda was answering comments or something, but it's not Cinda. Oh, that's okay. We're fine. So you're talking a lot about how you have to customize pieces. Is there a certain character that you have to do that for the most? Like, I don't know, keep customizing pieces other than the children, an adult character, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, it's surprising that some, like, you know, like we had COVID, everybody would think that people would gain weight, but they actually lost weight.
Mm-hmm. We noticed.
So, you know, like or, you know, like if one of the actors had a baby, you know, like her her size changed, you know, like during the show or, you know, after or before. So it's actually interesting. Like we basically refit everything on everyone. You know, we had to actually alter all Gowan suits one point.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually take them all in. So that was last year. Then we had to also alter all Jack's wardrobe as well. So Jack Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends, right? Like, and also the things shrunk, or, you know, like because we do use their closet so much, you know, like the fabric gets kind of, you know, like it loosens up a bit. So, you know, like it's like your regular clothes, right? It's not like when it's brand new, it's stiff. And as much as you are wearing it and going on, you know, like certain things stretch out. So you kind of have to refit everything and make sure it fits the way it's supposed to, right? So, so I would say like it applies on all of them, like on the ladies or men, and every year is really different.
Right. So every year they all have to come in and you have to fit all of their costumes. Yes, for them every year. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's
Barbara, how much
clothes they have? Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was one of our questions too, about how many pieces do you have? Like, how many does each character have? Around the same amount? Does somebody have like way more than another character? I mean, probably the main few characters have the most, and you know, the supporting actors maybe not so much. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that. How big this wardrobe is?
Well, we have actually big storage, which is full. The most wardrobe probably has, I would think, Elizabeth. She has a lot of wardrobe. She has lots of coats. But she has
lots of jackets.
Basically, she has lots of everything. So
my husband's question is, where does Elizabeth store all of her coats? Because they don't fit in the row house.
Well, I don't know.
TV magic.
I'm like, it's kind of like Hermione's purse and Harry Potter. You just keep stuffing stuff in it.
It's magic. Go ahead, Julie, with the next.
Let's Cinda ask a question. Oh, we lost her.
Oh, we've lost her.
Oh, no. Let me see if she is coming back. I think she's probably rejoining.
We will just hang on.
Anyway, if you're watching us, hi, I see 24 people on YouTube, which is fun. So throw your questions in. Say hi while we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm going to ask them questions. Can you see their questions on YouTube, Sarah?
I can see, I see Facebook questions. I see Lillian.
I do see Lillian.
I see Roxanne on YouTube. Yeah, so it's all mixed here. Oh, here's Barbara. Add her back. Hi.
I don't know what happened there, so sorry.
Okay.
We're still here.
We go with the flow here.
We'll figure it out.
How do you determine a character's look overall? Is that something that you have to come up with on your own, or are you given guidance?
It really depends what it is. Like, I had one time when Peter DeLuise said, like, he wants this particular character to have, like, the, you know, like, the vest, which is going, like, really high up. So, you know, like, that was, like, very specific. Mm-hmm. But usually, like, we had, like, once we get the script, I talked to the director and our showrunner, and we, you know, if there's anything specific they're looking for, they tell me, you know, but they don't really talk about like specific color palette or, you know, like, or exactly like the silhouette for the ladies or anything, right? So, you know, like there might be certain specifics, or, you know, there might be a certain action like in a script which we need to accommodate for. But like, usually I just basically kind of do what I want from my
Wow.
As a job, I find that amazing.
That's great.
Like, you kind of want each character to be different, right? So, and also you have to consider like your resources, which we have in town, and what is available to us, you know, and the actor size is very important. So that kind of limits your options, what you can even choose.
Okay.
Right. So if somebody, so because certain sizes just, there is not that many options as in other sizes, right? Especially when it comes to men's suits, let's say. And then you have to check for the fabrics too, because, we are trying to go, historic as much as we can, but it's still stylized show, right? So certain fabrics just don't work for us, and there is lots of, too much shiny suits. So we don't want to do that.
Right.
So do you read the scripts and then determine kind of like, okay, this person should be wearing something, like, do you make all that decision on what they're wearing when, unless you hear a specific direction from, say, a director or a showrunner? Am I understanding that right?
Sorry, you were cutting up there, but I think I kind of understood the questions. So yeah, usually, let's say lots of our characters are reoccurring, right? So they already have their closets, and we are just expanding their closets based on our needs. When it's somebody new, like let's say if there is somebody, and we had somebody coming last year, I maybe have a direction she should be more modern, or we can go with the shorter skirts, right? Like I get that direction. So last year we had I don't remember the character's name right now, but when Lee's daughter came to town, Rachel, yes.
Yep.
So she had shorter skirts and she had kind of different color palette. So sometimes if we have even a new character, I go with maybe color palette which we don't have that much in town, but it also has to work for the character, right? But she had lots of yellows, and then she had houndstooth skirt, and I had those fabrics actually for a while, and then I was like, oh great, these will work for her, right? And then also I have to send stuff for approval, so I cannot really build anything until I measure the actress. So what we do in a fitting is we try on the blouses, because sometimes, and for Erin, we do build blouses, but for other characters, we don't usually, but we do alter a lot. So, I might have really big blouse, let's say extra large, and now we have to turn it into small or something like that. So for the fittings, I put the blouses on, and then I wrap. For the skirt, the actresses are just holding the fabric around their waist. And then I send that for the approvals to Hallmark. That
Oh no.
Oh, she'll come back.
She'll come back. Oh, I see your comment, Jennifer. That is on our list about color coordinating, characters or families. And here she is. Let me let her back in. Yep, that's okay. Hi. That's okay.
I might be doing it quite a few times. I don't really know what's happening. Okay. I don't know if it's raining in Vancouver or something, which is a possibility.
Is it raining today?
Again, still in Vancouver. It's the Pacific Northwest. That's what it does, right?
Yeah, it was pretty pouring today, so.
That stinks. So Julie, do you want to jump on the white blouses question?
Yeah. So we had multiple people send us messages. Elizabeth has a range of cream and white blouses. Is there a reason behind her large wardrobe of neutral blouses?
It kind of just happened, I think, really. I mean, when I was asked to design the show in season 3, she already kind of had the soft colors in her wardrobe.
Yeah, the pastels for sure.
Yeah, so we kind of just went with it. And in the assortment of all the other characters, it kind of works to make each of them different, right? And I mean, it looks great on Erin too. So so we kind of sticked with it, right? And you wanted to have the difference, right? So, and you can find so many nice cottons with little prints, which it gives it a little bit of texture, but it's not just a solid fabric. So because I love texture, so any details and stuff. So it's always nice to find like, like really nice fabric, we can build a blouse for her. Or sometimes it's just nice to find a blouse in a store, which would work for her as well.
Mm.
And then, but usually like her blouses are really reconstructed. Like, yeah, like you have, like it can have like a big poofy sleeve and we change it into like something fitted, but it's like there's lots of pinning going on. Like she looks like a little Frankenstein sometimes. So
A little pin cushion.
Yeah, I like your mix of we lost her again.
Oh darn.
Oh.
That's okay. I feel bad. I don't want her.
Yeah, and it might be their internet with the heavy rains in Vancouver.
Yep.
And so they just, that is just the way it is in some places. So
Well, you know us, we just roll with the punches.
right.
We're fine.
It's kind of interesting to see that just evolved. And so it sounds like it's going to continue to evolve.
Yep, she's back.
Yay.
She keeps popping back the bus.
And she's back.
There you are.
We'll figure it out.
Yay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So you were just talking about how, you like to find patterns in your fabrics and all that. So I wanted to kind of change the subject to all your embellishments, because I feel like that's something that very much Barbara, like the buttons, the lace, the trims,
Yeah.
We love all the pictures you put up of that. So tell us a little bit about how you decide that. Where do you like to find them? Maybe what's your favorite embellishment?
I think my favorite would be buttons. I'm just obsessed with buttons, but trim is not far behind.
Okay. Yeah.
So when before COVID, when I used to like travel, when I went to a certain country, I usually went to their like a fabric store or a button store, and then I kind of brought some really unique pieces back here, and then we used them on a show. So I kind of like collect lots of pieces from different parts of the world. Even like I know, like I bought a fabric in Portland, and then Erin ended up wearing it. So it's like one of her yellow skirts, which is my favorite personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there was just enough for a skirt. And
perfect.
There was something left after we were done with it. So yeah, and then there was a store. I mean, it's still in Vancouver, but it's Button. I don't know if it's open.
Oh no, I feel bad. I wish I could change the weather.
Right?
Just when we were talking about buttons, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right when we're talking about buttons. I do love that she gets buttons from anywhere. Different places have different buttons. If you're in the same place, it doesn't matter the store you go to. It seems like they have all the same choices.
Yeah.
So I love that she's bringing things in. There she is.
There we go. There we go. What about accessories, Barbara? What are your favorite accessories?
Well, we don't really do that much. So usually, like we do the earrings.
Yeah.
So like last couple years, like I collaborated like with 3 designers, which sent me really beautiful pieces. So one of them is Brooklyn Designs. Then
I saw them post today.
So yeah, she actually reposted. And then Julia Lynn Designs, I actually started collaborating with her last year. And then I collaborated with Kim Jakum Designs. I'm not sure if I pronounced the name right. Unfortunately, Kim passed away this year. So that was very sad because she was actually supposed to send us some pieces for season 9, but she didn't get a chance.
That's sad.
Yeah, but we still are using the pieces from last year. So
yeah.
So
I love supporting. I love hearing those names and getting those out there, supporting those small designers. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so basically Julie introduced me to Kim, and like each of them has a different style, so it works for different characters. And then sometimes they do actually custom pieces for us. So they just ask like for which character do I need certain, do I need more pieces, and then they send some over. I usually, choose them before they arrive, just that they don't send me something that I cannot use. But yeah, it was great collaboration, like with all 3 of them, like in the last few years. Yeah, and then I usually find some pieces in local stores. depending on what's needed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. And we see those details, and we know the cast love those details because they often post them, you know? Those are the things we see.
We see a lot of shoes.
Yeah, let's
posted.
go to
We
shoes.
do.
So tell us a little bit about that. I feel like Elizabeth might need some prettier shoes.
She's kind of tough one, I have to say.
I'm just kidding. I've been seeing fancy shoes like Molly's fancy shoes, and even the guys just posted. Who posted the other day?
It was Lucas, actually. Well, actually, no, it was the other guy, but he posted Lucas's shoes as well.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
Wesley.
Wesley. Yes.
Yeah. Wesley did his buckled shoes, which I love that style. Very in, very cool right now, that buckle top men's shoe, but it's historically correct. And then the wingtips too, Lucas's. Those are great.
Yeah, so like for ladies, like there is a few brands. Like there was actually this great European store, but they closed down. So that's kind of sad because they had really beautiful styles. But then there is like a Miss Moose in Vancouver, which we use a lot because they kind of go the closest to, you know, historically sort of accurate shoes we can use on a show. Then for the men's shoes, actually, the Lucas's shoes are from, well, this guy in Vancouver. His name is Carlos.
Okay.
So he actually had a store, but because of COVID, he had to turn it, like, close it down. So it's actually XIXO letter artistry, but it's quadra shoes, if I pronounced it right, I hope.
Yeah.
So, but basically, Lucas wanted new shoes this year, and he had very specific idea how they should.
Well.
And then so I was looking like, where can I find a pair, right? And then I contacted Carlos, and they actually had black pair, which was just one of it. They only had like a sample pair, and then they had those brown pair, which you actually saw in that post. And Chris actually loved those, the brown ones, because originally he wanted black ones, but now he's wearing the brown ones more than the black ones. So
Okay.
but we were kind of really lucky that they had like a pair of shoes in like modern day in a store, which we can work for something historic.
Yeah.
Right.
My very fashion forward youngest son has those shoes, both those shoes in those pictures. I was like, we got those. So.
Well, the stats are coming back too, right? So.
Yep. No, the historical shoes, all the fancy, the wingtip, the buckles, those are all super in right now. Plus the boots, you can get the boots too. That's got to be helpful.
Oh yeah, like we were very lucky with the Lucas's shoes for sure, because I didn't have idea where to find the ones which he wanted. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. So do the actors often help you kind of come put their look together, like in how, you know, their kind of general look overall? Do you work together as they get to know their character and you're designing pieces?
It depends really on the actor. Like, I'd say for Chris, you know, like he watches lots of, I would say, history shows. He watches actually Peaky Blinders. So,
yeah. Okay.
So, you know, sometimes when I see him for like a fitting, then he's like, oh, could we try something like this? Or, you know, like, or he tells me like, but let's say regarding the shoes, he was actually wearing dress shoes last, you know, couple of years. And then he brought it up, well, I could kind of use new shoes. And it was like, okay. And then he showed me a picture, right? So it really depends on an actor and what it is, you know. And I mean, for Molly, we got her new shoes this year. She actually found a pair in Flubog, which was amazing. And they worked for us. So that's great.
Yeah, she posted those. Those were cute.
So, you know, like, it's really like something, I think, specific, you know, and then, you know, shoes are also like, they have to fit properly, right? So you want to be comfortable, right? So if an actress sometimes likes to just, you know, like go to a store and try on the shoes, I am okay with that. Because, you know, like, at least we don't have to buy like 10 pairs and then return them, right? So it's kind of like easier. And also, like, during the COVID, also the return policy changed in lots of stores. So you cannot really pull as much as you used to, and you have to be just more respectful to what you are buying and bringing back to stores, right? So our budget is not that big that we can actually keep all those 10 pairs of shoes, right? So so it really depends on the character. I mean, with Erin this year we started because we started doing, let's call it, like, some changes. So we kind of developed different system, but I'm not going to talk there because then I might say stuff which I'm not
Yeah, don't give us any spoilers.
No spoilers.
She normally wears just a brown boot, whereas like Fiona has the very trendy shoes, and Rosemary Pascal has posted some of her shoes. So, but we always just see the brown boots for Erin.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, but because Erin likes to be comfortable too.
Yes.
I don't blame her.
And it's really wet in Vancouver as well. I'm not saying that other shoes are probably not for other characters are not comfortable, but everybody has their preference, right?
Absolutely.
And also, we had really great shoes for Erin, but we kind of she worn them out, and we cannot get them anymore. So because the place with the brand basically doesn't exist anymore. So, like, sometimes we were just rebuying the same shoe over and over again. But right now, like, you are kind of looking for certain things for different characters. So it might not be the right look maybe, but it might be more about the comfort. But the other thing is, it's brown. So that's good.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and they're on their feet all day long. So I don't blame them for wanting comfort. Yeah.
Also, with the long skirt, you don't see them much. So
yeah,
you don't.
It's all good. All right, who's next?
Cinda, throw out a question.
Throw out a question. We covered so many of these. What caused you to come up with the suspenders? Because that's our craze, buttons and suspenders. So how did you come up with what characters were going to wear suspenders?
Oh, what characters wear suspenders?
Yeah.
I think, for Nathan, he had to wear suspenders.
Yeah.
Like,
we like that.
Kind of comes naturally. And then I know when I think it was season 3 when I started out. So we had Hickam, and I found these beautiful braided suspenders in Nordstrom. Yeah. So, and I was just like, well, somebody has to wear them. And Hickam was the good character who could actually, pull them off.
Right.
Found some, and then when Nathan was on the show, again, braided suspenders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a beautiful detail, like, and then for the other guys, like, you don't really see the suspenders until they take all the layers off, so they still wear them. So they still wear them underneath the suits, and they have different from black to a little bit like diamond shape with the red detail or something like that, So we have lots of suspenders on the show. You just don't see them.
Yeah.
Like,
if
the guys are casual, I always prefer more suspenders than belts because it's more historically accurate.
Right.
So, and it's always nice to just see a guy in like a button-up shirt, pants, and a suspenders because it just looks really good and it works for the period.
Right, definitely. So are you responsible for Lee's plaid pants?
I would probably say no.
No, was that before you?
Yeah, because the plaid pants started in season 2, as far as I know, at least.
Okay.
That's what I remember. So, he already had plaid pants, like when I call it, like, I inherited the show. So, he already had the plaid pants in his closet when I started. But like when I was hired to do the show, I kind of chose, like I wanted each character to look different, right? So what worked stayed, what didn't just went away, right? So and the plaid pants worked great on Lee and like for his character, and it gives you another texture for him, right? Like it's something to play with, right? So you don't want everybody to look the same, and I just expanded on it, I would say. So I just added more. We had some crazy ones too, but they didn't really make it to the show.
You were like, no, they're not coming in season 3.
Ones, and they were just like too much.
Right.
Too much.
I do love Lee's mixed patterns though. Like that's some of my favorite looks out there.
Yeah, it's lots of fun to dress him. So, and it's actually kind of nice when, you know, all pieces are not like, you know, like it's nice to see him in like a 3-piece matching suit, but then also like, you know, like having like the pants and the vest and the blazer and they are, you know, different fabrics and textures. Like he just looks so good in it. So,
right.
Yeah, it's perfect. It works.
I think your guys all look great. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a few rounds of Sharp Dressed Men videos made with your guys, and it's easy for those videographers to make those videos because the guys look great, even when they're in casual wear. So, which speaking of casual wear, can we talk about season 8? Because we're just gonna throw this out there. Nathan looked great in his casual wear in season 8. Vacation Nate looked great.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sometimes, it's just like there's like moments when it just gets choppy.
It's cutting out. Okay. Go ahead, Julie, say it again.
So we were just saying that even in the casual wear that everyone was enjoying the casual looking guys. Vacation Nathan looked really good last season.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Barbara, who is your favorite When Calls the Heart character to dress or create for?
I think that's really a tough one. So, because they're also different, right? So,
right.
So, sorry, my husband is saying I should watch my shadows. So,
you're fine.
I can't do anything with it right now. It's kind of hard.
You don't have any shadows.
Okay, one more time. What was the question? Sorry.
Do you have a favorite or a few favorite characters that you like to dress the most?
I really like making clothes for children. I think that's my favorite. Like the girls' dresses, but even for boys, it definitely like the uniforms were lots of fun. It's I don't know, like designing for kids is just different, and also I don't think lots of shows have children's. Like you don't have that opportunity to actually design for them. So I think it's always kind of unique and fun. And, especially like they're growing, right? So it's kind of interesting, like what they fit every year and what they don't. And we have really great cast. So like all those kids are amazing. And then when it comes to adults, like I do like Fiona a lot. Like, suits. So,
we love them.
But then, even Elizabeth's wardrobe is very different from Rosemary's, and Rosemary has really some beautiful suits which we build, right? So they are all very different. So I would probably just say I like playing with fabrics and textures, and then finding like the home for that fabric for which character it's going to work. Because sometimes like we do a fitting and Erin tries a blouse on and we are like both looking at it and are like, okay, this is not going to work for you. And like you would think that it would, but it's like as soon as you put it on, it's like, oh no, this is more like Clara's blouse or or somebody else's, right?
I really loved Clara's blouses last season, by the way.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah,
I thought they were great.
Those are probably like one of my favorites too, because like they're playing with lots of different textures and prints.
Yes.
And some of her blouses were actually made out of dresses.
Really?
Sleeveless. So basically there was just enough fabric at the bottom to make the sleeves out of. So that's why, they have different lengths, because it really depending on how long the dress was. But that was something that we did even for Elizabeth. It's like I sometimes find a blouse and I get two of, and we use one for the sleeves and one for the the bodice or something. So
that is so fascinating.
I love that.
So cool.
Well, you cannot really find those fabrics like in stores, especially like Vancouver is quite limited, right? So you cannot try to take advantage of everything what's offered in town. So sometimes you have to buy two and make one.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Ah, it's very
Barbara, how are you planning to make the changes for us heading into the 20s? Will that greatly impact your wardrobe?
Well, I think I would probably apply it on like a well, not maybe modern day, but like it's almost like if you like skinny jeans, it will take you a longer time to get out of them. So it's like like in 20s you didn't really wear corsets, but there's probably people in 1900s which basically love the corsets and they stick to them until their death or something, right? So you kind of are just like like I would say like you kind of base the changes on the character and what they would
Right.
do, and then also on the actor's preferences a little bit too, because like the corset does give you a great silhouette, right? So like
right.
jumping from there to something without a corset, it's really big change and it's completely different look, right? And I mean, it's
Right.
still a small town, so they can be still a little bit behind, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Like, but it's kind of like you have to just like figure out the balance in changes, I would say.
Right.
I mean, I would probably do sometimes like a bigger jump, but like I would probably need more people for that too.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, like you need the time, right? You need time and
Right.
budget and people.
That's a big
sometimes
job
too.
to
Right.
Yeah, like
And
if you wanted
yeah.
to do the whole Hope Valley, that would be a big job.
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
So you have
And
to do
the
it step by step. So like there, like last year when we did Faith, yes,
Yep.
Faith. Yeah, so we're basically shortening all her skirts, right? So it was all skirts and we were shortening them up, which was quite interesting. So we are trying to adapt something what's, existent and just making it more modern, close to the 20s.
Okay.
If that's what, we are required to do or asked to do.
right. Right. Also, you brought in the overalls, the
The freedom
Freedom
off.
Halls?
Freedom Malls was the name. What prompted you to bring Freedom Malls into the show?
Well, actually, that was our writers. So they actually wrote it in a script, and I was just really happy that we get a chance to make them.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting. So, I just did my take on them based on the research we did. And
Right.
it was, very exciting. I mean, if you see how it's actually built, we didn't build it the way they built it at the time,
Mhm.
but it still looks like that it's built properly.
Right. Right. No, they look great on screen. It's a look I'm familiar with, and certainly overalls for girls and women had come through a few different times. So I love that it gave that late 19 teens look.
Right.
Plus the fabrics you picked were great.
Oh yeah, no, it was like a beautiful fabric to use, especially like even for Rachel's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes.
Yeah, no, those fabrics were beautiful. Came across.
I bet they really liked wearing pants too.
Oh yes,
Probably more comfortable than the skirts. Yeah.
you would have to ask them, I think.
Yeah. I'm assuming. How big is your team? Is it really just you and your dad and mom that do all this work for the show?
Well, basically, so when you have people on set, right? So you have set supervisor, then we have a track costumer. We have actually two, so you have track costumer and the assistant. Then we have a background costumer. So those 4 people are always daily on set to making sure everything is going smoothly.
Right.
And then we have my dad who is assisting. And my mom is building the costumes.
Okay.
Usually she just takes on like the most intricate pieces or, like all those Frankensteins I was talking about. So she does that. Then we have Andrea in office. So she does mostly sewing and lots of alterations.
Okay.
And then there's me, I think. I don't think I forgot anybody. Yes,
so it's more people than you think.
It's still a pretty small team. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a few, like not that many people, but we have Jennifer who was actually sewing as well, like few years back, and then we have Andrea, and then we had, so there was usually like one other like seamstress slash catter depending on the experiences. And then last year we had lots of alterations actually. So I just sourced it out. So I just gave it, some people to do at home who I knew and they were available before they jumped actually on their, like regular shows.
Right.
Yeah, but it's very small team still.
Right.
So what is a day? Are you on set, or you're probably too busy to be on set?
Actually, I am usually in trucks. So like, I have to, like, once you get the script, I have to decide which actor is going to wear which outfit, for, like that particular, not scene, but it's a script day, right? So usually like, we don't really change the actors during this one script day unless it's like required. Sometimes if they end up in jail, they don't change for longer. Yes, I have to do the lineup. So I'm usually at the truck, and then if somebody needs to go to set, then it's Martin, my dad. So I send him off there to take care of things. But so and then I'm in office or shopping. So it's kind of, I think that's kind of enough locations for me to cover.
Yes, it's a lot.
I
was going to say, do you is it still fun to go shopping for these things, or is it stressful sometimes where it's just work, or do you really still find that joy out of that, like going searching for materials and fabrics? And
when it comes to fabrics, I think that's one thing I definitely enjoy, and I don't think I ever get bored of it. So, it's different than the clothes because you're actually looking for materials to create something out of them.
Right.
And I also find, even like for personally, when I didn't have time to build anything for myself lately, but when I used to like build stuff for me, I usually find the inspiration in fabric. So you can kind of do it both ways, right? Like you can find a great fabric and then figure out what to use it for, or then you do a sketch and then you find the fabric for that particular sketch. So you can kind of work both ways, right? When it comes to shopping for clothes, I would say like on a contemporary show, that's hard. Like it's very exhausting. And, like the COVID really changed a lot of things. Right. And there wasn't enough merchandise as well. Like, like there was times when I went to a store and where used to be like all these jeans, it was like nothing there. Like there was
We've noticed.
So,
totally noticed that.
Like the merchandise definitely, changed. I'm kind of glad we are building lots of things right now. It kind of makes it, I would say, easier. I will knock on something though. But yeah, like it can be definitely stressful at times, and it's definitely exhausting, right? And then you're basically dressing people you never met before. So you're just going off of their sizes, right? And then before COVID, sometimes happened that the cast arrived just the day before the shoot. So you don't really have enough time to, like for alterations or, like you have to send wardrobe for approvals. There is not enough time to, respond, I guess, to everything or like react to everything that fast, because you kind of would have to work like 48-hour day, I think.
Right.
Like there's never enough time. So, so I do prefer building, I would say, for sure.
Okay.
I can totally see that. Hey, I'm going to ask about this, the mounting uniform and the surge. People have lots of questions. So we'll start with, do you build that, or is that, you buy that, or is it given to you?
Okay, so with the uniforms, there's actually, if I understand it correctly, you have to have rights to use them. So you cannot use them on a show until you have rights to use the uniform. There is only one place in Vancouver you can rent them out of, which is IMS.
Okay.
And they actually build the Nathan's uniform because they have all the fabrics.
Okay.
So they built the uniform, we gave them the sizes, and then we fitted it on our actor, and then we altered it more in our office just because it needed, a little bit more alterations. But it was something which, we didn't build. We had to add like a mic pack and stuff like that, and haul here and there for the mic.
Right. I think because you need a pocket for a cell phone. I've heard that complaint.
I actually was thinking about it today, and I'm not sure if his pants have pockets.
That's what he's complained about, actually. He has no pockets. He's like, I have no pockets.
What about when when they have like other Mounties coming into town, you're able to just rent those costumes from the same
Yeah, so
shop?
we rent them. Yeah, so IMS basically has, like, they have like not that many like historically accurate uniforms.
Okay.
Because there is actually a difference in a pocket. So they have one with the correct pocket and the one with the wrong pocket. So when we had to do a funeral, we actually had to rent, like the ones with the wrong pocket as well. So but we just rent all of it from them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then those are more accurate that way, right?
Yes. But there is a piece which was omitted since actually even before I started there, and we never brought it back. But it was never even seen on camera. It's like this white rope which they wear, like Mounties.
Oh.
So, but we don't use it on a show. So,
right, yeah.
Well,
goes around the shoulder. Right. Okay.
What can you tell us? We're getting closer to the time of wrapping up. So, tell us a quick story about something that maybe has gone wrong that you were scrambling to fix. Maybe during a shoot or something like that. Or any kind of funny story.
So the worst,
if you can think of it.
The worst one was it wasn't a Man Calls the Heart. I did a show, and it was one of those where you have to work with the weekend. The cast was hired on Friday. We went to camera on Wednesday. We had to do fittings on Monday and Tuesday. We actually did fittings with 9 people on Monday, and they all had like 30 costume changes, I think, if not more. It was really, it was lots of costumes. But the bad thing was that our first camera day, which was very early, I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, I think we had to get to set. Yep. And because, like everything was last minute, I had to actually decide on a day which actor is going to wear what. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was that when we got to the truck, all the clothes fell down. Well, not all, but a lot. And I was just thinking it just fell down. And then we picked up one piece of garment, and it was wet. And then, and I was like, okay, it's just one garment. But then we picked up the other garment, and it was drenched in water. And basically what happened was that there was a point when they were basically putting the water bottles, the big blue ones, on our truck to transport them to set. And one of them broke. And instead of they give us a call like at 4 o'clock or whenever the other people got there, that there is an emergency, they basically took the water bottles away and left the clothes sink into the puddle. And then the colors transferred between So basically, one actress, all her 30 costume pieces were damaged.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to actually go to background track and find something similar to what she was supposed to wear, and then to do a damage control. And yeah, it was very stressful.
Wow. I'm stressed out just listening to this story.
Holy bucket. And those filming timelines are so tight. That's crazy. I feel like
go ahead. I was going to bring up the weddings, Julie.
I was going to say, we have asked about wedding dresses. Do you make those or do you buy those?
Okay, so the weddings I was responsible for, we actually found the dresses.
Okay.
So I have to say that my dad is actually really good at wedding dresses. Yeah. So, like, for example, for Clara's wedding, I actually showed
beautiful.
A picture what I was kind of imagining it, and he found like a perfect thing, and then we altered it. Wow. So like every piece is always, altered, and like we have to do what we have to do to it. But and then we added belts to the Clara's dress, right? But then for Rosemary dress, one of them, I know it was a strapless dress, and we actually built like a sort of a bodice with a long sleeve to go underneath.
Okay.
To add sleeves to it, if I remember correctly. And then Erin's dress, she actually was in New York, and she was like, okay, so I can look for wedding dresses. I'm like, because we actually, before she ended up in New York, we tried all wedding dresses in a store in Vancouver. And we didn't really find anything what we liked. And then she ended up in New York, and she's like, okay, well, should I go? And I'm like, well, I've never been in New York.
Go to Pine Filters.
So I Googled, like the wedding stores, and, and I was like, okay, go there.
Yeah.
And she found a wedding dress there. And the funny thing with that dress was, because it was a sample, so it wasn't brand new, and it needed to be dry cleaned. And the dry cleaners lady was saying that we cannot really guarantee this dress will survive dry cleaning.
Right.
Because it was, we had to really dry clean it. So we were just hoping that the lace is going to survive. It survived. So that was good.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
And then just did some, we did alterations to it, and then removed the buttons. I think there was like lots of buttons at the end. I don't know if we took those off or kept some right now.
I can't remember. We've got a lot of comments about Clara's dress. So I think that was maybe a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody loved Clara's dress.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And I'm going to add in then, like, how do you decide bridesmaids and groomsmen when you're doing a wedding?
So, I mean, we did like different color variations over the years. Rosemary's, where I think we did both. Well, it was only one time, but she wore the wedding dress twice. So we actually did gray suits for the men. For Erin's, we, if I remember correctly, did the blue ones. So that was actually a very lucky find. I think it was I think it was her wedding. It was so long time ago. But yeah, there is this actually great website which has these magical suits, I call them, because they're actually 3-piece, and they come with a vest, and they are they're really good priced, and they look period. So we actually ordered them from this website, and luckily they worked. And then when it comes to the bridesmaid dresses, so for Erin's, it was the pink and blue, if I remember correctly. So it's usually about fabric. So I think I suggested that we should do each of them differently. Lori one color and Rosemary the other color.
Yeah.
And then like I was looking for like the matching fabrics in different colors. So that one wasn't that tough. But for Clara's wedding, though, that one was a tough one, because we wanted each dress to look different, but we wanted like the same fabrics in 3 different colors.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, I don't usually have difficulty with fabrics, but this time I had. So it took me like 2 weeks to figure out which fabric we are going to use, because we couldn't find anything in store. There was like nothing. And then we actually ended up using fabric which I had since season 3, and I wanted to use it for something else, but it wasn't approved. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to use this fabric, but we only had it in 2 colors. So we had to basically dye it to get the 3rd color.
Wow.
And then we had to get, like another supporting fabric for the dresses. And that one also only came, I think, in 2 colors. So we had to dye that one. And, sometimes it's not like, friendly dyeable fabrics. So, so we had to figure out that. And, and then we built the dresses.
Well, it's so funny because with that one, when the minute I saw them, I made an edit because it was like Disney princess colors, and it was just so easy to like line the princesses up with the 3 women in that for the Clara's wedding. So all that work paid off.
You'll have to repost that, Julie. I don't think I would knew you then.
I might have known you then. It was a cute edit. I'll have to dig it out. But I immediately was like, oh, look at the Disney princesses walking down the aisle. Well,
should we go into our game quick and then start wrapping up?
Yeah.
So we like to play a game. It's like a this or that game, but we call it Suspenders or Buttons because that's our name. So I'll start with an easy one. Do you like pie or cake?
Cake.
Cindy, go next.
Oh my goodness. I don't even have the list.
I do. I'll go. Coffee or tea? Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea for sure. I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Do you have it now, Cinda?
Spring or fall?
Oh, I will go with spring.
Streaming or movie theater?
Movie theater.
Let's see, fall movie or Christmas movie?
I don't even know what's fall movie, so I'm going with Christmas.
Hallmark has a whole bunch of them. They make a whole event around it.
Although they're not very folly this year. All right, go ahead, Julie.
All right. Small dinner party or a big party?
Was the first one the small party?
Small dinner party or large party?
I would go with small.
Yeah.
What
Mountains
about
or beach? Mountains or beach?
One more time, sorry.
Mountains or beach?
Oh, beach, for sure.
country or city?
Tough one. I think I would go with city.
City. And that's our game.
Fun.
Can you tell us about any other projects you might be working on now or that you've just worked on? I know you just did the Netflix Harry and Meghan movie. That was Lifetime.
Yeah, Lifetime.
And then you did a Netflix Christmas movie. Is there anything you're working on now or you want to tell everybody about?
Well, right now it's One Calls the Heart. It's pretty much
One Calls the Heart, yeah.
full time. But the Harry and Meghan movie, that one was really cool because we actually had to build lots of costumes for that one. So because we had to match, certain costumes which actually Meghan wore in real life. And then we couldn't do exact match because you have to do it based on the rules that it has to be 30% different to the real thing.
Oh,
so that one was actually lots of fun. It was lots of work, but we had to match all these real scenes with the hats and the gowns and everything. So it was different experience altogether.
That sounds really fun. Have to match the scene, but also make it so different.
That it's 40% different.
Puzzle. Yeah, that sounds very fun.
That's outstanding.
Go ahead, Julie.
No, I think I'm good. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Where can we find you on social media, Barbara?
Well, I do have an Instagram, which is my full name, I believe.
It is.
Twitter, but I don't use that one.
I did find you on Twitter saying it's your full name, but not much there.
And then I do have Facebook, but that's just for my grandma.
Here's my cat. Excuse me.
So the Instagram is probably the best.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic.
Well, thank you. Yes. Thank you for coming on with us and for chatting and, giving us your time. We really appreciate it. We love talking about the costumes and the different details, and we love seeing the pictures. So keep posting for us all the different details. We love it.
Yeah, I should post more. So
awesome. Well, then I'll sign us out, and we can hang out here for a minute as we go off from live. Thank you for joining Suspenders Unbuttoned for our podcast this week with our guest costume designer, Barbara Gregusova. thanks again for joining us. We'll see you
Thank
next
you. And
time.
everybody stay tuned for an announcement for our next podcast coming up soon.
Okay.
And